Hey, hi, hello, my name is Sunny, and today I am going to be redesigning Garten of Banban characters. This is definitely not going to be lore accurate with the designs. I'm really just doing this for fun and what I would like them to look like because I just don't really like the original designs. I find them too vague, not really detailed enough. And while I do understand that they're mascots, I feel like they could still be simple and still look better. This is going to be a very interesting exercise for me because I've never ever designed or redesigned mascots before, so it was definitely a challenge, but I hope you guys will like it. And if you don't, that's fine because it was still something that I made depending on my own taste. Starting off with the one and the only Banban himself. I already knew I wanted Bandban to be kind of like a clown, so I immediately changed his party hats for a jester hat. I don't really have an explanation for the fact that I made his mouth into a zip thing. I just thought it would be cool. I knew that I wanted to keep the silhouette of the characters, I really didn't want to sacrifice it. So the shape of his head is going to be changed later on so it looks more like the silhouette of the original design. Since Banban doesn't really have a neck, I gave him like those ruffle colors, I don't know how they're called. And since he does have a muscular build as well, but his body just kind of looks weird because he just has bumps on his forearms, I just gave him a button up and gave him poofy sleeves. And then since I wanted to keep the simplicity of the design, I kind of imitated Donald Duck or Winnie the Pooh and just didn't give him any pants. And since he is supposed to be a devil as well, I gave him a little devil tail. Now, obviously, every character in Banban has their own color, and so for Banban, it's red, but he is all red. They're all just one block of color mostly, so I gave him more shades of red. I made his skin a more muted red, and I made his waistcoat into a darker red. I kept the color of his party hats into his jester hat and just changed the white for red again. And here he is. I think he might be one of my favorite redesigns. And then it was Opal Bird's turn, so I never really drew a bird before, so it was kind of hell. I was kind of scared about it, but eventually I got an idea. Basing myself off of Furbies, even if they're not gonna look like a Furby at all in the end because they're gonna be based on an owl, you can see their face here. I like to think that their only role here is to be a disguised surveillance camera and that they just have to alert the people in charge when they see a kid going off to somewhere they're not supposed to be. And then maybe they got programmed to guide the kids back to the main rooms or whatever you want to call them. And I don't know if you guys ever stumbled across those, but you know, there's like normal Furbies, and then people started doing long Furbies, and they're so weird and creepy, and I love them. So I thought it would be funny if my Opal Bird, since they're a surveillance camera, could extend their neck kind of like a long Furby. It would add to the creepiness, I think, but also it's just kind of funny. Now, in Bandban, Opal Bird is one of the smallest character of the cast, but in my redesign, they're about Banban's height. Just like the original, though, they don't actually speak or anything, they just kind of scream. And that's kind of it for them. I did change their color palette a bit again, but that's something that I'm gonna do with every other characters. I made their color palette a bit more darker and muted, gave them a dark grayish purple face, and I kept the color of the beak, just put them on their talons. And that's it for Opal Bird. I hope you guys like them. And then came Captain Fiddles, and it was definitely the design I hated working on the most. I hate his original design, and I even hate my own design, but I couldn't really find anything else better. He actually blocked me for a few days because I just didn't know what to do with him. He's supposed to be a monkey, did you know that? Does that look like a monkey to you? Even just a little bit? No, absolutely not. I was desperate, so I asked for one of my best friend's opinion on it, and they told me, hey, how about those creepy monkey toys from like Toy Story? And I was like, oh my god, you beautiful genius. So that's what I did, but if I'm referring myself to the wiki, he's supposed to be like the perfect monkey child, so I also kind of fused him with like the Munchie toys. And I gave him a little pirate uniform just to emphasize the captain part of Captain Fiddles, because he's supposed to be a pirate. So he has the freaky eyes from the scary monkey toy, and the rest of his anatomy is kind of based on Munchichi's. And I kept his teeth because it's about the only valuable character trait he has. Now, I did try to make him look fluffy, but when I tried to add texture to the simple art style, it just kind of looked weird, so I gave up on it, so he is smooth. As for the color palette, I actually kept the same color as his original design. I kept it and put it on his fur, and then it was only really about just adding more colors so that he wouldn't look so simple. Though I do have to admit I'm not as satisfied. I think it might be my least favorite design because he doesn't look anything like his original design. But he does look better, I think, so here he is. Next up was Jumbo Josh, which I also hated working on, but not as much as I did Captain Fiddles. I just wasn't sure of what to do since I don't really know about any gorilla toys apart from those stretchy, scary, ugly looking gorillas. I didn't want to do that, so instead I did like a high-tech animal. I actually designed Jumbo Josh before I designed Captain Fiddles, and eventually I learned that Captain Fiddles was supposed to be a monkey, and I decided to redesign Jumbo Josh again so that he would be a gorilla, but here is the monkey design that I originally made for Jumbo Josh. So he's just really kind of like an eye dog, but instead of being tiny and a dog, he's gigantic and he's still a gorilla. Now, unlike the canon universe, my Jumbo Josh would be able to speak, and I put a little speaker outlet underneath his head and just on top of his chest, you can see it. In the 3D version, I like to think that he has an actual, TV screen, just like iDogs. So he has a grain on his TV, to make it kind of old-timey. But it's not something that I was able to translate through the 2D design, and I don't actually remember why I gave him those blue bracelets, but they do break the grain well. And that's it for Jumbo Josh. I think he turned out alright. Next up was Bambolina, and dear god! I think Bandban and Bambolina were my favorite to work on because they're not directly based on animals, so I have more freedom with what I want to do. So for Bambolina, I knew that I didn't want to stray too far from the design that I made for Bandban. I still didn't want them to be too similar because, they're their own characters. So I gave Bambolina a cake theme and I gave her a cake collar and whipped cream horns. Obviously, I had to keep her bow, it's her character's signature trait. And I gave her a little nose that you could interpret as candy if you'd like. The entire reason I gave her a cake theme is because, she's supposed to be a teacher for young kids, at least she's really supposed to be. And I thought about how in primary school, teachers would sometimes throw parties for students before holiday breaks, and they would serve us the thinnest pieces of cakes ever, and it was still good, but it was a stupidly tiny piece of cake, but we would all be so happy because it's still cake. And I thought this reasoning was funny, so here she is, a cake monster. She has the same outfit as Bandban, just different colors. I kept the color of her canon design for her skin. I chose pinks and reds for the color of her uniform so that it goes with her bow. And that's it for Bambolina. She was such a treat to her design. Get it? Because she's cake. Treat. Okay, I'll shut up. I'm very satisfied with the redesign. I hope you guys like it as well. Last to go was Stinger Flynn, and honestly, I debated whether or not I should do him because I actually kind of like his design, but he is a bit too simple. I mean, there's nothing original about him, I don't mean that to be mean. So what I did is that I basically just gave him more of a silhouette where I intertwined his tentacles and just made it into kind of a body, and I gave him a waistcoat so that it would kind of match with Bandban and Bambolina. Except his is brown and Bandban's and Bambolina's are red, but that's fine, that's fine. And that's really just about it. I kept the same color, I kept the same base kind of. Really all I did was intertwine the tentacles like I said and added the waistcoat. But now he just kind of looks like Squidward, but it's fine, right? As simple as it is, I hope you guys like it as well, and that's about it for Stinger Flynn. I really like his design, to be honest, so here he is. And that concludes the Bandban redesign, at least the first part. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a second part yet. Either way, I hope you guys all like them. Here they are all next to each other, all lined up with the height differences. Feel free to let me know which one was your favorite, and feel free also to suggest ideas for videos that I can make. Of course, they're always welcomed. And with that, I will wish you a good rest of your day. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram account, SunnyXastris. Bye!